Hi Stampers, it's Nancy from stampindshout.com. Welcome to my YouTube channel. This is my Nancy at Noon video series. So every week I pick a stamp set, one stamp set. I create 5 projects and I do a video a day every day at noon. So this week I'm using the Beautiful Balloons stamp set, and it has coordinating dies. And let me show you what we've done so far. So first we made a tag and a little candy holder, and the tag is using the cutouts of the stars and the little tag with the little confetti. And then I like to call this one my designer series paper balloons. So all of these balloons are using the Bright and Beautiful designer series paper. So it's the 6x6 paper of 48 sheets. It's really pretty paper. I've used it so much. I think you'll really like it, because you can do a lot of festive things with it, but then again it has some muted colors that you could use for any occasion. And we also added this fringe. We're going to use fringe on today's card also. And then we made a slimline card. So with this one we cut out the balloons. There's 2 different size balloons, and we cut them out of different colored cardstock, and then we added interest by using the little confetti stamp to each balloon, and we made our slimline card. So I think that turned out really cute. Today's card I'm calling Simple Stamping because it's all stamped, but we did add a little bit of fringe here, so you'll see how to use that fringe die cut, and then it's your special day. So let's bring in the supplies and get started. So I have a card base of fresh freesia, and that is 8.5 by 5.5, and it's scored at 4 1/4. Then I have 2 layers of white on the front and 2 layers of white on the inside. I will have all the sizes on my blog, so you don't have to worry about that. I have all the colors and all the supplies. I have clickable shopping links, so if there's anything you're interested in buying, I will have the links on my blog too, and I would appreciate it. And there's my host code. And if you have any questions, you can always ask, and I am here to help. So we have white for the inside, white for the front, a little piece of white for our sentiment, a little piece of lemon lolly for our fringe. And then we're also going to use a masking technique. And we're going to use this piece as our little template for stamping. So let's bring in the white piece. So it's 5 1/4 by 4 and 5 by 3 3/4. The smaller one is going to be our stamping piece. So we're going to bring in this template, and we're going to lay it down where we want to stamp our balloons. It's just to give you a basic idea. And I am going to stamp my first balloon in fresh freesia. So these stamps are solid stamps, and you want to make sure they're clean. You can wash them in just dish soap. And what I like to do is to kind of season them a little bit first. So I like to take my Versamark and ink it up. And that just gives it a little bit of a, well, like I said, I'm seasoning it. Then I'm going to wash that off with my little chamois. I just wiped it off with my little chamois here. And now I'm going to ink it up. So with the solid stamps, you want to make sure you have a nice juicy ink pad. And I'm just holding this template in place. And I'm going to go ahead and hold it there for a second, let that ink saturate. And there you go. That's your first one. Next, I'm going to stamp a lemon lolly. So again, I'm going to season it with my Versamark. Wipe it off on my chamois, and then I'm going to ink it up. Nice. Clean that one off. And then my last balloon with the template is going to be bubble bath, that pretty pink. So let's season that little stamp up. Okay, so that's the start. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove that template, and I'm going to bring in, this is a scrap of white, and I'll show you the die that I used. So I used this die right here to cut that out, and I'm just going to lay it over what we already stamped, and I'm going to continue stamping a couple more balloons. So let's do another lemon lolly. And I don't have to season it up again. It's going to be fine. And I'm just going to lay that there, and I'm going to stamp right over the mask, a little bit on the paper, wherever I want my next balloon to be. It'll kind of give you a look like the balloons are flying behind each other. And then let's do a fresh freesia balloon. I'm going to stamp that one right here. And I am going to bring this yellow back in and just stamp it one more time. You could do it without the mat because the colors do go over each other okay. And it kind of looks like they're see-through balloons floating through each other. So it's all good in stamping this. But I did like to use that first part, that little template, just to get my first couple balloons in there. But you can stamp however you like. You don't have to worry about overlapping. It just seems to work okay because they are balloons. So they do, you know, you do see through them. So it looks kind of cool. So now I'm going to bring in my gray ink, basic gray, and the little string stamp, and stamp my strings on the balloons. Just like that. Then I'm going to bring in the little tiny confetti stamp, which is that stamp right there. And I'm going to stamp a few little squigglies here and there. Now we're going to stamp right in the middle of the balloon, happy birthday. I'm going to stamp that in blueberry bushel. I like this stamping this happy birthday on the big balloon, and then you kind of angle it. It's really pretty. Just like that. Pretty. I'm also going to stamp our sentiment in the blueberry bushel. That's going to go on the front of our card. I think it's time for a celebration. Just like that. So I'm just going to cut this down. Just like that. And then this piece here, the lemon lolly, we're going to fringe it. So let me bring in my dies. This is the die piece that will cut the fringe. So I always start off with a 1-inch wide piece, and however long I need it. I only need it about 2.5 inches. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and line my die on here. It's going to overlap on the back. I'm not worried. What I want is a piece of solid right there that's not fringe, so I can glue that. So I'm going to go ahead and run that through my machine. And so what that did was it gave us this really pretty fringe. And you just want to ruffle it. Just kind of lift it up. You can swirl it with your fingers just to give it a little bit of texture. It makes it more playful. And then we're going to cut this down eventually. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue on that solid piece. And I only want a little bit of fringe, so I might have to cut this down when I'm done. But so I'm overlapping my sentiment on there. Just want to make sure your fringe is the same. You don't want it cockeyed. And then I'm going to cut the rest of this fringe off. Then we're going to attach this to the front of our card. So this is going to go right there, like that. And I'm going to pop that up on dimensionals. Just like that. Then I'm going to bring in the glue dots and add a bow. This is a pretty ribbon. It comes in a 3-pack, and it is the sheer ribbon combo pack. So you have the bubble bath, the lemon lolly, and the azure blue. Very pretty. We'll put a bow right there. And then we'll put our card together. So I'm going to glue this stamped piece to this white layer, and then I'm going to glue that to the front of our card. So there's the front of our card. Isn't it pretty? What do you think? Do you like it? Of course, you can use any colors you'd like to switch this up, but it's a great little layout, and it's all stamped, except for the little fringe. I like that little fringe. It's pretty. So for the inside, I am going to stamp "It's Your Special Day," and I actually got that stamp out of the Sweet Songbirds, and it says "It's Your Special Day." So we're going to ink that up in the blueberry bushel. And then we'll glue these two pieces together and glue them to the inside. So actually I have around here somewhere another strip of designer series paper that I put on the inside of the card. I don't see it right now, but I will find it and put it on the inside of this card. So that way when whoever wins this card will have that pretty strip of designer series paper on the inside. But that's your Simply Stamped card using the Beautiful Balloons stamp set. Don't you love that fringe? I think that really is a nice little accent on there. So I hope you liked today's card. If you're not a subscriber, go ahead and subscribe. I'd hate you to miss one of the new videos, and comment to be entered to win today's card. And I'll see you tomorrow at noon. I have a fun fold tomorrow. Don't be shy. Stamp and shout.